This is Mark Bell from SuperTraining.tv, Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. I'm outside of Davis Swim and Fitness, where I just finished up doing about 45 minutes, 40 minutes of cardio. It's really pretty embarrassing, to be honest with you. I hate doing this kind of stuff, but it's all for a goal, it's all for a purpose. And I'm a big believer, a big proponent of doing something every single day towards your goal, whether it's watching videos of other lifters to try to learn how to become a better lifter yourself, or whether it's reading an article to improve your education, your edumacation on certain topics so you can become more informed. Part of all this, part of the piece of the puzzle is the principle of awareness. The more aware you are of what you're doing, the more you believe in your program, the better effect that it should have. Shooting this video today, not to answer a question for the Power Project, but to answer a couple of general questions from the Power Project, I guess you'd say. A lot of people are asking questions about the November 3rd meet. A couple of people said it needs a catchy name, it needs this, it needs that. Well, it already has a name. It was given a name by a famous meet promoter. He called it a backyard meet. So now it is simply known as the backyard meet of the century. So let's just call it what it is. That's what it is. It's just a meet at little old Super Training Gym here in Sacramento, California, where we just happen to have the biggest stars, some of the biggest, strongest lifters in the history of raw powerlifting. Stan Efferding, Eric Lillibridge, Eric Spoto, who's going to probably break a world record in the bench press, and also Dan Green. Dan Green, don't count Dan Green out. Don't forget about those lovely long locks and dimples that he has. He stands a good chance if he makes the 220 weight class of really disrupting some, really erupting, I should say, with some huge numbers. Let's see. Also had a question about like judges. People are wondering who's going to judge. Well, we're probably going to pick and choose from the crowd. We'll pick the fattest people with the worst eyesight. So that way, even if they are, even if they're, even if they were to pay attention, they wouldn't be able to see anything. But in between them eating Snickers bars, the lifts can get passed, and we'll just basically have we won't even have a red light. We'll just have white lights. So, like when Stan, because Stan is part of Super Training, when Stan steps on the platform, he'll just automatically get a white light just for his participation. So it doesn't really matter if he makes the lift or not. We're just going to give him white lights. We're going to credit the lifts, and if he does like an 850 squat, we're just going to write it down as 900. If he weighs in at 300, we're going to write down that he made the 242-pound weight class. And Eric Lillibridge, he's not from Super Training, so he's not going to get those same advantages. He'll basically get a red light, and we'll put some real severe IPF judges in the chair while he's lifting and make sure that he fails. We'd actually love to see him get injured, really, is what we're after. So maybe we'll kind of like misload, like we'll load the plates unevenly from one side to the other to ensure that other lifters get hurt, and to make sure that Stan gets his numbers, and that Eric Spoto, maybe we'll set up some invisible reverse bands so he can hit an 865 raw bench. These are some of the idiotic things I'm seeing on YouTube, so I'm just responding to it just because it's asinine. We're looking to put together the same meet that we always do. This is no different than any other competition run at Super Training. You could always look at any meet, any competition. I don't care what federation it is or who runs it. You can look at any competition, any federation, and there are flaws. Not just one. There are flaws, several of them, in every single competition that there is. The more lifters there are, the more complications that there are a lot of times. So it doesn't just happen here at Super Training Gym, whether it's at IPF Worlds or, and I'm not singling out the IPF, I actually think they're one of the most organized, best federations in the world. That's why I'm referring to them. But if you look at any of their competitions, you're going to have high squats passed, you're going to have hitched deadlifts, you're going to have uneven lockouts in the bench, and you're going to have people breaking rules that are actually physically in the rule book, and they somehow get passed. It's part of it. That's part of powerlifting. Powerlifting is a sport where you get judged, and your actual number is not the only representation that you have. You're being judged as if you were a gymnast, or if you were a figure skater. That's kind of what this sport is. It comes down to judges pushing a certain button. And it comes down to you ultimately as the lifter, performing it to the best of your ability and trying to do the lift right in the first place, so that there is no real guessing game going on there. But anyway, I thought I'd clear a couple of those things up. It's an SPF meet, Southern Powerlifting Federation. We chose Southern Powerlifting because it was the only federation at the time, that offered raw, single ply, and multi-ply. Do you think I really love the SPF, that I have some sort of great affiliation with the SPF? I like the SPF. I like Jesse Rogers. He's a cool dude. He and I get along great. However, I could care less about any federation. If this could be done without a federation affiliate, that would be just fine by me. But in order to get in the record books, and in order for people to reach some of their goals, obtain some of their goals, and be written down in history next to the likes of Eddie Cohn and guys like that, then you have to have a federation attached to it. So when I decided to become the SPF chairman for California and run SPF meets, that's how it happened. Because I don't care necessarily about the federation so much. I care about the lifters. I want to see lifters lifting big weights and performing in whatever fashion they want to perform. If they want to walk weights out, that's fine. If they want to utilize the monolift, that's fine. If they want to wear knee wraps, that's great. If they don't, that's fine. If they want to wear a multi-ply suit, great. If they want to wear multi-ply briefs under that multi-ply suit, that's fine. I don't care. I don't care. There's certain rules that need to be followed within each category, within the multi-ply, single-ply, and raw. But as long as they hold up to those standards, as long as a raw lifter's not wearing single-ply briefs underneath his singlet, then what's the big deal? I ain't got a problem with it. So that's the way it goes at Super Training. That's the way these meets are run. Everyone lifts together. There's different flights, just like any other competition. So hopefully this is clearing some of this up for you. Some of you people seem to be very confused on, people are saying, is Eric Spotto going to wear elbow sleeves and stuff like that? Let's not get ridiculous. You're not allowed to wear elbow sleeves in competition. I actually think that you should be able to. Who really cares? You're able to wear knee wraps. You can make a case, say that your elbow is probably a weaker joint than your kneecap. But who really cares? You're not allowed to wear it. So the way it's going to go down at Super Training is Eric Spotto is going to lift with wrist wraps and in a singlet, just like everybody else would raw, and maybe a lifting belt, and maybe he'll overuse lots of chalk. Maybe he'll use a little bit of nose torque just to create some crazy controversy. But those that are lifting raw, they're allowed to wear knee wraps, a belt. Anyone can enter this competition, by the way. It's November 3rd. November 4th, by the way, is the Women's Pro-Am right at Super Training Gym as well. So those of you that are coming out to see how out of breath I am from that short walk. Isn't that ridiculous? Got a cramp. Oh, like that Rogue Fitness shirt, how it's all sweaty. I got sweaty titties. Isn't that disgusting? Anyway, I better get the hell out of here. I got to go eat breakfast. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore because the cardio I just did was on an empty stomach. I got to go eat lots of food. Then I got to spend the rest of the day with Dangerously Hardcore's John Kiefer. That ought to be exciting. That guy is the biggest nerd on the face of the planet. I never have anything nice to say about him, but when it comes to dieting, when it comes to nutrition, that guy knows his stuff. Anyway, wish me luck on hanging out with that nerd all day. And that is it from supertraining.tv. Later.